Yesterday, UConn became the first school in the Football Bowl subdivision to announce it wouldn't play this season. The Huskies are independent, coming off a season in which they went 2-10. 6 UConn games had already been canceled, including games in which the Huskies were playing teams from the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC. Those conferences deciding to play only in conference in 2020. Here's Huskies coach Randy Edsall.
I see people and I hear people saying that because we're independent, we're able to do this. Let me just say one thing. If I was a head coach in a conference, a Power 5 conference, a Group of 5 conference, I'd be saying the same thing. I'd be doing the same thing. Because these young men's lives are more important than money. They're more important than money. And I'm just glad we made the right decision.
But the question remains, will other teams and conferences be making the same call as UConn? And what will be the role of the NCAA, which does not control the regular season? Athletes are now speaking out on the issue. Their parents are too. A dominant offensive tackle, Chris Hinton played 13 seasons in the NFL. He was All-Pro 5 times and named to 7 Pro Bowls. Like Chris, his wife Maya Hinton was a standout athlete in college at Northwestern. Now they have 2 sons playing college football at prestigious programs. Chris Jr. is a sophomore defensive lineman at Michigan. Miles is an incoming freshman offensive lineman at Stanford. Chris and Maya are among the millions of American parents concerned about their kids as colleges prepare to resume in the fall. They're also among that much smaller cohort with specific concerns about the wisdom of allowing their kids to play football amid the pandemic. If their sons are going to play, the Hintons want more clarity about safety protocols. They want the NCAA to step in and mandate uniform procedures and practices. They want the well-being of their sons and other college athletes to be the priority. To that end, the Hintons created a Facebook group, College Football Parents 24/7. In just a couple of months, more than 2,200 parents have signed on as group members. Recently, Chris told the Chicago Tribune, "Maya and I are huge football fans. We want to see a season, but we want it done safely and only if it makes sense." And for more, we are joined now by Chris Hinton himself. Chris, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Chris, how would you describe the goals for your group, College Football Parents 24/7?
Well, the broad goal is to keep our sons safe and come up with hopefully that there's big-wide safety protocol for COVID-19.
We had the news last night, UCLA, 8 players testing positive. Your son Miles, obviously, is going into the Pac-12 as a freshman to play on the offensive line at Stanford. The news from your alma mater that 1 player is tested positive at Northwestern, things there on hold. What's your reaction to all of this news about players testing positive?
Well, the big thing, I like to applaud the schools that do the proper testing, and once they identify someone who's positive, they're able to get a handle of the virus. Whereas before, you saw schools with 40, 30 plus positives. And that's telling me that they're not doing the proper protocols. So what we're seeing now is I think schools are starting to pay attention to the virus and do proper testing.
How do you think things are being handled at Stanford and Michigan, where your sons are supposed to be playing, or scheduled to be playing at this point anyway, this fall?
Well, we've been really happy with the communication that both schools have given us and the direction that they're going in as far as testing, isolating, and under the conditions, I think they're doing the best that they can.
Chris, you know football as well as anyone. You've dedicated your life to playing the game, coaching the game. You've raised sons who are obviously outstanding players. They play on the line as you played on the line. How do you feel generally about sending them back in this environment, this situation with the pandemic raging in this country, to play football?
Well, I said recently, 6 months ago, this is not the ship that we had planned to board. But if we do, it's one that we feel like schools have to do the best that they can. We trust schools with our sons, and we just don't want them to fail us. And so I think conferences are moving in the right direction as far as coming up with league-wide, conference-wide protocols and keeping games within the conference. So we'll see. The big thing is if with the mandates that are coming about, mandates are guidelines if they're not enforced. And guidelines is the environment that we've lived in the last 2 months. So hopefully there's a third party that will oversee the mandates.
Chris Hinton, the 5-time All-Pro offensive tackle and the co-founder with his wife Maya of the Advocacy Group, College Football Parents 24/7. Chris, thank you so much for joining us here on OTL and SportsCenter.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.